Hello internet people, welcome to another edition of the Broken Box Gamer, brought to you in part by Back to Reality Gamers Club. Now in my last video I talked about a fast, frantic, shooting, crazy game called Adrenaline, and before that I did a few family games, Back to the Future being one of them. Today I'd like to talk about something slightly different. It's a card game that's very harsh. It's like one card dealt, you're out. No, nothing you can do about it. So, without further ado, I shall introduce to you, mind the tea, Lovecraft Letter. Now, there are a number of games in this series that are already out called Love Letter. Or that's the series it belongs to. And I think there's a Marvel one, this is a horror-based one, and there's a bunch of others as well. They all seem to follow a similar set of rules, similar theming. I think the Marvel one's got a few extra bits here and there. But yeah, this is a very quick, very fast game for 2 to 6 players. And ages 3 and up. So the horror isn't exactly horrific. But let's have a look and see how it plays. So the first thing you'll notice about Lovecraft Letter is this amazing box that they've put it in. Just like a book. Let's open it. Alright, so components wise, you've got your rule book. Nice. You got your tokens. I think I'm missing one. Oh well. And you've got your instruction reference cards. Double-sided, of course. And your player cards. Look at the wonderful artwork on those bad boys. Fantastic. So, first things first. Quick setup. Firstly, give each player a reference card. Next up, remove the Migo brain case from the deck. We'll stick it over there. Next up, shuffle the cards and deal one card face down to each player. So let's give every other player a reference card. Be sure to have the yellow side up, as this is the sane side, and like most Lovecraft or Cthulhu based games, there is a sane and insane mechanic. The insane side being green, sane side being yellow. Remaining cards in a pile in the middle of the table. There you go. Setup done. Once the cards have been dealt, feel free to look at your card, but do not share anything about it to the other players. Let's have a look. Golden Mead. Choose another player, look at their hand. Simple instructions. Bear in mind this is an insane card, as dictated by the green number at the top and the text at the bottom. But as we've only just started the game, our player is perfectly sane, so you only ever follow the text at the top. On your turn, the first action you do, other than looking at your card, is to take one from the top deck. Let's have a look. Professor Henry Armitage. What does it do? Choose any player. They must discard their hand and draw a new card. Okay. So when it comes to choosing a card to play, the only thing you really need to take notice of, other than the actual card instructions, is whether it's an insane card or a sane card, as dictated by the overall green aspects of the insane card and the white/yellow of the sane cards. Going insane is something we'll cover in a second. For the purposes of this go, though, our player wishes to remain sane, so they'll play Professor Henry Armitage. So our player is going to play Professor Henry Armitage against the player on the right. Follow the card's instructions and see what happens. They must discard their hand and draw a new card. Well, that's pretty simple. So the player here will discard their card. Their card was an insane card, which means now that player is insane. So flip that over, stick that out of the way. your card goes into your own little discard pile down there. Make sure all the time you're not revealing any of your cards to the other players unless you're actually playing them. One thing to note is that certain cards that get dealt out immediately lose you the round if they are discarded from your hand. So in this case, if that had happened to the player on the right, he would have been out of the game. So let's say players continued, the player on the right has been eliminated, and we're still sane. Let's draw a card for our go. Yeah. 2 insane cards, which means no matter what happens here, our player is going to go insane. Now, the Shining Trapezahedron, I think that's right, says you must discard this card if you ever have another card with a number higher than 4 in your hand. Ignore this effect if you are insane. Now, our card isn't higher than 4, however, we're going to discard this card anyway, which means our character is now insane. So, being insane means that you can now do the bottom action on your card. But before you do anything else, at the beginning of your turn, you have to do a sanity check. Let's see how that works. To perform a sanity check, you simply look at your discard pile. I've got 1 insane card in there, which means I do 1 sanity check. The way sanity checks work is you simply take the top card. If it's a sane card, you pass. If it's an insane card, you're dead. Or you've gone too insane to actually continue and you're out of the round. In this case though, it was a white card or a sane card, so we're fine. And play will continue as normal, doing the bottom action of this card or the standard action with that card. Play continues like this until you are the last player standing, in which case you get one of these tokens. Orange if you're sane when the round ends. Green Cthulhu if you're insane when the round ends. In order to win the game, you need to get 2 sane tokens or 3 insane tokens. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That's Lovecraft Letter. Please note there are a few cards that change the overall flow of the game. The main one being Cthulhu himself. Look at that. The reason why this card changes the rules of the game is because if you are insane and you have 2 or more insanity cards in your discard pile, you immediately win the game. That's not the round, that is the whole game. And that's Lovecraft Letter from AEG Games. I got to admit, I really like the presentation on this one. From the little poker chips you get, to the overall presentation of the box, to even these little card sleeves that you get with a silver backing, specific for this game. Absolutely fantastic. AEG have knocked it out of the park on this one. The game itself is fast, it's brutal, unfortunately. Might cause a few arguments. But you can knock out a session in about, what, 2 minutes? 3 minutes, if that? The actual rounds might last longer depending on the player count, but generally speaking, it's quite a quick game. But there you go. A nice short one today. I might try and put out a longer one next time. Depends on what I feel like at the time, I suppose. If there's any game recommendations that you can see on my shelf here, or you've seen in my video that you think, that looks good, I wonder how to play that. Let me know in the comments. I'll see what I can do for you. Give us a like and subscribe if you're happy with the content I'm putting out. I'll try and get some more out as soon as I can. And yeah, from me, the Broken Box Gamer, have a good one. Take care. Hello, internet people. Welcome to another edition.